Hey everybody, Zongets 134 here.
And I'm Average Joe Squad, as always.
Welcome to another episode of... I almost said welcome to another episode of Mobat Movember.
I thought you were going to say welcome to the show. I'm like, no, we're going to give copyright strike.
And welcome to another episode of Remember the Hyphen. It's the last episode for this year's Mobat Movember, which may run into December a little bit, but details. So, last episode episodes, we talked about Detective Comics number 27, The First Appearance of Batman. And this fella here got an idea.
Was this before or after the U.S. Camel Corps experiment? For the record, this is we just got done filming the other episode that just went up, and we went on like I went on like a 20-minute tangent of just dumbass history shit I know. Confederate camels. That's all I'm gonna say. Funny shit. Yeah.
So basically, he was like, "Let's do one of the serials." We were probably gonna do two, but I watched the first one and that took me all day because this is 3 hours long and I like watching old stuff, but this was so long and just so
absolutely batshit.
Yeah, pun intended. That I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch a couple parts, take a break.
Fun, real quick before you get it. The first time I ever heard of these, if you'll let me.
No, by all means.
So, I'm a big thrift store guy. I go thrifting every week, buy stuff. Because again, I'm a history guy. I like old stuff. I like retro stuff. So I'm looking through the VHS tapes the one day, and I find this thing. It's The Adventures of Batman and Robin, and it's a black and white picture. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I pick it up and I'm looking at it. I'm like, what is this? I flip it over and I'm looking at it. I'm like, hold up. So I pull out my phone, Google this. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because what it is, it's the first serial. And I want to say it's almost all of it.
I think it is all of it.
It's probably almost all of it. I have to go home and look at it, but it's almost all of it. And I was like, what the hell is this? I had to buy it at that point.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm interested. So I went home and watched it. I'm just like, this is absolutely batshit crazy. No, this is cool, but it's kind of crazy.
I first knew about these after watching James Rolfe talk about all the different Batman films that were, and he brought both of these up because there's two. There's I think it's just called The Batman, and then there's Batman and Robin. The first one came out in 1943. The other came out in 1949. Both were made by Columbia Films, which is hilarious because that's the same company that made the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
So both Batman and Spider-Man used to be owned under the same house. WB doesn't own these, for the record.
I'm pretty sure these are public domain.
These are public domain, which, I can kind of see why Warner Brothers didn't pick these up, because it's they're kind of...
Well, I think by the time they did, I don't think there was a market for the home video. There wasn't. By the time there was a home video market, this clearly was way out of copyright.
Yeah, which is kind of hilarious because I remember in the 90s that there used to be all these different Three Stooges collections where it would literally be just every episode of the Three Stooges on VHS. Because I had a friend when I was in high school, all throughout my childhood, basically, his parents actually had a bunch of Three Stooges collections. It was wild because I would see ones with the original Stooges, and you have Curly Joe and
Oh, so it's Bruce Lee. Do you want to talk about that Bruce Lee DVD we found?
Oh, you mean the one that's not about Bruce Lee, but all the different Bruce exploitation films from the 70s?
I remember you and me looking at it bro.
Yeah,
why?
There's not even one none of them start.
This was brand new. This was at Walmart. Yeah. We were like, what the hell?
For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, as a small tangent. After Bruce Lee's death,
there were more Bruce Lee movies.
Yeah, but they were made with guys that were Bruce Lee lookalikes. They would have names like Bruce Leong, or the Dragon, or Bruce the Dragon Lee.
Just ways to skirt around.
And basically they would pretend to be sequels to actual Bruce Lee films. I think one's The Dragon Returns, or Son of the Dragon, or the one that was just blatant, The Clones of Bruce Lee, where it literally opens with news footage of his death.
It's just damn, nobody, Hollywood had no chill.
Well, to be fair, these weren't
really Hollywood, but
they were more Chinese films that if you think he was popular.
Oh, he was the Steve McQueen over there.
Yeah, unbelievably so. And to be fair, it was that time when exploitation films were all the rage in cinema. You had Bruce exploitation, Nazi exploitation.
I remember
black exploitation.
I remember reading something, and this is related to that tangent.
Yeah.
I read a bio on Steve McQueen a couple months ago. Dude led an interesting life, but he and Bruce Lee were rivals.
Yeah.
And so like, basically like, because I'll be honest, Steve McQueen was a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah. I mean,
But Bruce Lee, like when he became popular in China, he actually was like, I've become my country's Steve McQueen,
Yeah.
So he wrote Steve McQueen said, look, I did it, Steve McQueen sent him an autographed picture of himself and said, here you go. And apparently Bruce Lee's response was, you motherfucker. I'm like, damn it.
which to be fair, like it takes a lot to anger that dude. That dude was surprisingly chill. Like,
Pissed
but
Bruce Lee off. Like, whoa, you're asking to get murdered.
yeah, like I get you can fight Steve. You can't hold a candle to Bruce Lee. This man broke Chuck Norris's fucking arm when they were, which isn't like he literally accidentally broke the dude's arm doing like a stunt. Also, I love the story where Jackie Chan was like doing like a stunt with him, and Bruce accidentally hit him a little too hard, and so like Bruce like cradled him, and Jackie was just so happy to be cradled in Bruce's arms. He like played it up a little bit because he's like, "This is the best day of my life." And like for like the rest of the day, Bruce Lee would actually, whenever he saw Jackie, would like salute him and be like, "There he goes, my little soldier." And I'm like,
Jesus.
no, that is the cutest fucking thing I've ever heard. It's just how happy Jackie Chan was to be in a movie with Bruce Lee.
That's crazy.
So anyway, getting in back on topic,
But yeah, these are available on YouTube.
Yeah.
In their entirety, because again, public domain. You can also get them on archive.org.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of stuff you can get on archive.org. I really recommend that website.
You can also there's also ones where like they put all the serials together into a film. I actually recommend watching these like in playlist format with like the parts. Because,
that way you can take a break because like,
Yeah.
I sat and watched these all in one go on a VHS tape.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking like, dude, when is this gonna end? Like, holy fuck, this is long.
Because each one is like 15 parts, and granted, they're not like horrible to sit through because they're only like 15, 20 minutes.
And when I first watched them, I didn't know what serials were, so I was just sitting like, this is the longest fucking Batman movie I've ever watched.
But like,
holy fuck.
But okay, so since you said that, let's go into what exactly a serial is because I'm sure not everybody knows what they are. So back in basically from like the 20s till about, actually I think the 60s, because I want to say film serials were still like a thing up until like the 60s.
Yeah.
Films weren't really how we do films now. Basically, when you would go to a movie theater, you would get a lot of things. Basically, you would get like...
This was basically the evolution of...
It's actually kind of the evolution of TV in a lot of ways, because it would be like that, where you'd have like different shows coming on.
Yeah, this was basically the evolution of TV.
Yeah, it was kind of taking from like the old vaudeville idea where you would watch like different things. Like you'd get like a comedy thing, you'd get like a burlesque, you'd get like...
Some cartoons, maybe.
Yeah, well, I was talking more about vaudeville, but like basically you would pay to watch a film, but you would get all this other stuff first. Like you get like you said, like you get like a Looney Tunes cartoon or a Disney cartoon. You get news, you would get like what's going on, like particularly with this movie, you probably get like a war like thing where like they were talking about what's going on in the Eastern Front well, I guess in this case it'd be the Eastern Front, especially given the stuff you have to deal with this film. Mm-hmm. We'll get into it when we get there, but basically you do that, you get a serial, which is what this is. Then you get like an actual film, and I think you probably get like I want to say like a war propaganda thing at the very end, talking to you about like buying war bonds. Granted, when the war was going on, I don't know what happened before that because like it kind of was only like this part of cinema.
Yeah.
And so basically, you would get a serial, and to be fair, like it would be at whatever part because it was they would only show like each part.
Yeah, Flash Gordon had a really similar style because again, Flash Gordon was a serial.
So you would sit down for a movie and you'd be like, oh hey, a Looney Tune, and then you get like Batman Part 7, and you'd be like, what? Okay. But basically, the serials were kind of like a TV show, and basically they would you'd get like each part, and it would like. You would end on a cliffhanger that would lead into the next.
Sometimes they would re-release these as well, kind of
sometimes
together,
they would,
which I have seen evidence that they did do that. And like Batman obviously wasn't the only comic book series to have this. Like you had the original Captain Marvel,
the original Captain America. Which I only say that because when I was watching this,
Pretty sure Superman had one.
Superman did have one. George Reeves, actually, the George Reeves one. I actually say, you want to know why I brought Captain America up? When I was watching these, in the recommended was
it
the
Captain
Captain America.
That's on Blu-ray now, by the way.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I need to get that and the Captain Marvel serials on Blu-ray because I don't think these are on Blu-ray.
No, I know they're on DVD, but like I think because of whoever.
Well, I know because
owns
I bought it at Dollar General for $4.
Yeah, I was just about to say. But sadly, it and the Fleischer ones are in the public domain, so like you find them on like old DVD collections a lot.
Yeah.
I happen to have like
dollar store, especially dollar store stuff anymore. They get a lot of Warner Brothers stuff.
Yeah, they do get. They mostly get the older stuff, like the ones where like Bugs had like yellow gloves, or like he like had like a really stretched head, like an almond shaped head, or like where Daffy was actually like a goofball.
It's kind of like Dollar General gets a lot of Sony related stuff.
Yeah, which I don't know why that is.
They have some kind of a deal, I'm pretty sure.
Probably. And so basically, if you're a big fan of like Mystery Science Theater, whenever they would do shorter films, they would actually play like old film serials or old PSAs, which also used to be in front of movies. Like, okay, this didn't actually get released for Mystery Science Theater, but there was actually they were going to do a Mystery Science Theater like point and click, and they were going to do like one of them was going to be the short called Why Malamar, or not Malamar. It's some sort of like plastic, like old school like plastic like covering. I know that because like Cara talked about it with the Isle of Rangoon. But basically, like, you know, you would get these and like other stuff, and like serials were cool. But like I said, like sometimes if you didn't see like the recollections, you would literally be like in like one part and you'd be like, well, I don't know what the hell's going on. Actually, a lot of old school cartoons used to be like this too, like Rocky and Bullwinkle, Underdog. They used to do serialization like this. It's also why the Batman, the Adam West TV show is like that too, because these actually inspired the Adam West TV show from what little research I did before we started this. So, but yeah, I enjoyed watching it. Although, admittedly, as we talk about the serial, I had some problems with it because it's
I did too. I know a little bit about what you're going to go into.
As you're going to see, this Batman's kind of lame as we talk about it, but before we get really into the plot stuff, I should warn you guys. This first serial was made during World War II.
So yeah, there is a bit of racist propaganda.
Yeah,
in this,
particularly towards
which excusing that, but you also have to recognize the context. Like, hey, this was made during the war. This is why this was done. It doesn't make it right, but this is why.
But you have to understand why. Like, this is why it happened.
This is how people thought back then.
Him and I do not endorse any of the racism that happened in this. We simply wanted to talk about it
because it's a matter of historical.
Because it's a matter of historical. Yeah. Thankfully, I don't think the other, because we will do the next serial, I think.
The other one's not nearly as bad.
Yeah, no. Although it has a character called the Wizard in a Hood, and I'm like...
Okay, wait a minute.
Oh.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm like, oh.
Hold the fuck up. Wait a minute.
So, but yeah. Like
the Superman radio shorts where he was fighting the Klan.
Because, like, this did take place during the internment camps. In fact, I think they even bring up the internment camps in this, which I'm like...
I think they do, but it's been, honestly, forgive me, it's been so long since I've watched them.
Well, because like they
and I don't have my DVD copies out at the other house.
Because like they go to like the Japanese Asian like little Tokyo part of Gotham in this, and they talk about how it's almost completely abandoned because of like the Japanese deportation, which I'm like,
hold up.
Oh,
like oh yeah, there's a word on American history right there.
Yeah, like it especially because it's so patriotic about it. I'm like.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh. Things that didn't age well whatsoever. Things that really didn't age well.
Like the fact that Batman says a racial slur when he comes across the bad guy of the piece. And I'm like, whoa, Batman!
Batman doesn't give a fuck in this.
Like, I get you're a patriot, but holy shit!
Yeah. I remember... No, actually, I think what it was is that the version I had on tape was censored.
Yeah.
So it didn't have that. But, like, obviously the ones online that are public domain, both versions are. There are censored ones out there and there are uncensored ones. The first time I saw the uncensored one, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no,
damn, okay.
Mine was uncensored, and I was like...
Holy shit. Wait a minute.
Oh, this is some... This is probably why Warner Brothers don't re-release this.
Which is weird because they do the Looney Tunes stuff, but even that, again, they probably just they don't own the rights to this.
Then, like,
who wants this on Blu-ray?
who wants this on Blu-ray?
I mean, I would, but that's just going on completionist.
I mean, I don't know. This made me uncomfortable, but at least, like, I could kind of, like, step back. It's not like the episode of the 60s Spider-Man cartoon with the very obvious...
Oh God, I know what you're talking
about. The one where we invented the phrase "casual '60s racism."
Yeah, that. Oof. Big oof.
I'll tell you what's not racist: Australian Wolverine, because I got played by an Aussie afterwards. Come on, Gene, let's go down to the Outback for a bloomin' onion.
Fuck out of here.
I'm the best there is at what I do, and what I do is being Aussie. But anyway, so...
One day I will be Gene's second husband. What happened to my first one? Nothing you can prove.
So, okay. So in this, Playboy millionaire Bruce Wayne is an agent of the government who created the Batman partially to avenge his parents, partially because he's a patriot fighting Japanese espionage of...
I would have paid some money to have seen your live reaction to that.
No, I was like, 1943, you say?
Damn, I never would have guessed.
Never would have guessed.
Yeah, I would have paid some actual money to have seen you live react to this.
To be fair, I've watched enough, like, old school, like, World War II, like, cartoons, like...
That you get it.
Like, I get it. But still, like, seeing Batman, a man who I know wouldn't actually be okay
seeing him
with
do
this
shit.
I'm like, wow. This is right up there with that one Fleischer short for Superman called and this is what it's called, The Japatours.
Oh no, I know
what where Superman goes to Japan and sabotages their war effort. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Stop! No, oh no, and they got the buck teeth. Oh God, oh I'm uncomfortable. I'll pop in this Bugs Bunny cartoon. Oh no, it's Bugs Bunny nips the nips. Oh no. I gotta find something else. Oh, here's the one where Daffy fights the German stereotype. Okay, all right.
He actually only threw.
Schultz!
He actually threw in Schindler's List.
No, I don't want to be sad.
But no, that's really the interesting thing with a lot of the DC related media from this point.
Yeah.
It's just that like you watch this now and it's like, damn, this is like it's dated.
It's dated.
It's interesting because like this at one point this was all there was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, it really was because like I don't think Batman had like a radio drama. I think literally it was just these two.
He showed up in the Superman radio drama.
Oh really? I did not know that.
Yeah, actually. He did, and I want to say he did have a radio drama, but it was really short compared to the Superman one. But don't quote me on that because I feel like he did, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, because probably someone was writing and so like, hey, this is just an episode of The Shadow.
Let me look it up. Keep going. I'm gonna look up and see if I'm actually right on that.
Yeah. So, as you can't tell, the villain of this piece is a Japanese mad scientist named Dr. Daka, who, as it goes on, I think they imply that he is like the son of Emperor Hirohito and like is a prince as well. But like he went over to America to like sabotage America's war efforts. It was kind of weird, and to be fair, like. The audio on mine was kind of hard to hear. Like, I had the volume turned up on my computer, and it was still really hard to hear in some spots.
Honestly, that's how my VHS was, so I think it's just... Yeah, the sound's probably degraded for it.
Especially with Dr. Daka, who, for the record, isn't actually played by a Japanese person. It's played by an Irish guy who also doesn't really do... He doesn't.
I was wrong. He actually just shows up in the Superman one.
Because like he doesn't. I don't think he has what would be the correct accent for this person. It's. Yeah. Apparently that dude won an Oscar, and I'm like.
Props.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, this dude, this Dr. Daka, who I'm just gonna say Dr. Daka because I want to bring up any more of the fact that they reference that he's like possibly the son of Hirohito.
We don't need to
Like,
bring this shit up. We
no.
get it. It's during the war. We understand. It's on the nose.
Yeah, like yeah. And so, Dr. Daka's plan, which this here is so sci-fi. I'm like, which is this is like 20 years, like almost 20 years before sci-fi becomes like a real like big thing. Like I know Flash Gordon was made around this time, but like
this is like really prior to it being a huge fucking
yeah. So like, and yeah, I know Godzilla also came out around this time.
War of the Worlds was already
War of the Worlds,
published.
but like this was kind of something I wasn't expecting going into this when because like I knew it involved
the war.
The war. I didn't know it was going to involve a fucking death ray. Yeah, Dr. Daka wants to build a death ray that's powered by radium, which I'm like, and like there are parts where people literally are just holding radium in their hands, and I'm like, oh god, it's the Atomic Cafe. Which now you get to hear my.
This is why I wanted to talk about this because again, this shit is absolutely crazy.
Because as a comm major, okay, so to give you an idea, because I was a comm major, I don't know if you guys talked about it as much as history majors, but when I was a comm major, one of my comm professors actually showed us this video called "The Atomic Cafe," basically talking about nuclear war, like nuclear propaganda.
It's like the uranium plates they made.
Yeah,
that are actually like buku collectible for somebody wants a whole set of those in their house. Be my fucking guest. I ain't interested.
Yeah, because like I actually saw Markiplier. Like his girlfriend actually had like cups that her grandma had. They were radiant. They were like uranium. And he actually pulls out a Geiger counter and he puts the Geiger counter up to this cup, and you just start hearing the clicks. I'm like, well, he's sterile now. But like, going to basically the Atomic Cafe, it's about how more or less the U.S. kind of didn't let people know how dangerous radiation was.
It's a big deal with they bring that up with Fallout a lot.
Because America knew like what exactly, because like they had done experiments on it for
what's
for
that?
decades.
The United States government who makes the first nuclear bomb?
Yeah, because you probably know, but the Bikini Island experiments, the Bikini Atoll, where they literally had soldiers be subjected to like.
No, I'm well aware. I have a book.
Yeah.
I have two books regarding the subject. I have the making of the atomic bomb and the making of the hydrogen bomb.
Yeah, because like it would show like these people like casually talking about like how radiation might be good for you, and I'm like,
bruh, no.
Like it.
Uranium fever.
Yeah, like.
Gonna get me down.
Actually, I actually might send you links to that documentary.
Please do. I'm actually kind of interested.
It's very interesting.
Please forward it to me.
Like,
I'm actually kind of interested now.
Because like they bring up the old duck and cover like PSA about like
hide under your fucking desk. Yeah, that's gonna save you from the bombs going off.
Which is hilarious.
That'll fucking save you. That's how you end up being a ghoul.
You're familiar with the Hanna-Barbera cartoon Adamant, right?
Yeah.
When Cartoon Network used to do the Groovies, like where they would do like they made one about Adamant, and they actually put in like audio from the old duck and cover. And I'm like,
bro.
God.
Fun fact, when I was cleaning out my grandma's basement the one time, I actually found this book. I still have it. How to make a fallout shelter in your basement to protect you from a nuclear explosion.
Yeah. Like
that shit's funny. I had to keep that because that's a piece of history right there.
I mean, I get some of it because like you don't want to tell the populace as a whole.
Hey, this shit we've been making shit with. Hey, it's dangerous.
And it could potentially like destroy the planet. like, but getting off the hilariousness of them like, because like they're like, because Batman's girlfriend in this is like named like Betty Page, I think is her name. Because like, it's weird because like this movie has Batman and Robin, and his name is Bruce Wayne. Robin's is Dick Grayson. They have Alfred, which this Alfred is actually much closer to modern Alfred than what was Alfred in the comics. Because Alfred in the comics was more like
because this serial is the reason modern Alfred exists.
Okay, because like I thought so.
The design in this, it was why they later retconned Alfred and looking like he does now.
Yeah, because for those of you who don't know, old school Alfred literally looked like Elmer Fudd. He was like round.
He was a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, and he wanted to be a detective, which is why he used to follow Batman and Robin around, which actually eventually led to his death. and then he became a radioactive mummy, and Batman and Robin fixed him, and he became the Alfred that everybody knows. At least Golden Age Alfred. Modern Alfred, he was
Earth 1.
Yeah, Earth 2 Alfred was just, I'm the butler of the Waynes. Because honestly, I always thought it was the '60s show that actually was that Alfred, but seeing as how this serial inspired that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's the serial.
The serial also introduces the Bat Cave, or as it's called here, the Bat's Cave, which is literally
just a cave with a desk and a file cabinet.
Although I did see the later serial, and apparently in the later serial, it's much more like
they elaborated on it. And in this first serial, this is actually the first appearance of the Batcave.
Which is hilarious because literally the bats are clearly on strings as they fly around.
It looks really cheesy.
Okay, that was just the fan. Sorry. We're in the shed occasionally, like the wind makes the fan move, and it's just this like thump, which I was just like, is Doug out there gonna kill us? But no. But and so like actually it was kind of cool to see like this serial actually did inspire the idea of the Batcave.
Yeah.
Which I think is
a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. Which again I find kind of weird. It took until this serial to do that, because like again like they took so much from Zorro to make Batman, and Zorro has a cave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not full of bats, but like it has like the same premise, which I also think means that this is also where the whole idea of Batman enters the cave through a grandfather clock is.
Yeah.
Although I don't think it has the. Do you know what the password is for getting in the Batcave with the clock?
It's the time of the Wayne's murder.
Yep, 10:48.
Yep, it's the Wayne. I know that.
Mm-hmm. I figured you did, but you know.
It's what it is in the animated series.
It is what it is in the animated series. Which is kind of hilarious because in the TV show they have the whole the button under the William Shakespeare bus that opens up the ball.
I love that that's in Arkham Knight. I was like,
oh yeah, it is in Arkham Knight. I forgot about that.
Because they did that as a reference.
Yeah.
I loved that.
I love that. Actually, I want to say the phone he used is in that shot too.
I want to say it is.
Which is hilarious because he also goes to the answering machine where Kate's like, "Hey, I'm getting married to a woman. You gonna come to my wedding?"
Yeah.
But
it's like the only time we know she exists in that universe.
Which is a shame because I wish Batwoman had shown up more. She might show up in the new.
She barely shows up in the comics anymore, which is disappointing.
Yeah, I think that's mostly because they kind of ruined her with New 52. But anyway, getting back on track. And it's also hilarious because there's no Batmobile in this, so literally Alfred drives him around everywhere in like I don't know what kind of car it is.
It's like a coupe.
The Bat Mini coupe.
I'd have to go and look at it because the thing with coupes back then, dude, they all look fucking identical. It's like how SUVs all look alike now.
Yeah.
Dude, back then, they looked fucking all similar.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew how to like really make a good car back then.
I also love that they bring up the fact that Batman will put on different disguises and not just be Batman.
Yeah.
Like he puts on like a fake gangster disguise to like try and get like information out of the guys. Which is hilarious because then they unmask him and he's still in the disguise, so they think the mafia guy is Batman. So they don't know Bruce Wayne is Batman. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Because like nowadays, they actually do say that Batman actually puts on like disguise makeup while wearing the Batman costume to further cement that he's like, to separate Batman from Bruce Wayne. And that was really cool. They actually brought in some of like what you would see later with Batman, like with Matches Malone and like.
I was just gonna bring out Matches.
Yeah. Or like the scene in Batman Year One where he makes himself look like an old like army like veteran. I don't know why that word was popping out of my head, but that was really cool. I will admit he doesn't use a lot of gadgets. Like this is a very low tech Batman. Like the most he uses is occasional.
How about him jumping from the car?
Oh yeah, when he jumps into the. That was awesome. I actually was like that because that was real.
Yeah, that was real. Like, I want to know how many takes they did of that. Like that stunt guy was like risking his fucking life doing that shit.
Honestly, with those kind of stunts back then, that was like we do this once.
We do this one time
because if the stunt guy doesn't make it, he's dead. They actually did a lot of car chases in this. I remember there was like at least a couple car chases.
Yeah.
My favorite being when he has to get into the armored car, so he pulls out the fucking ray gun and just blows the roof off and literally murders these two dudes. I'm like I think they try to play up like they're unconscious. I'm like,
bro, they dead.
No, I'm pretty sure with that was steel plating that fell on their heads. They are dead. Well, not only that, this Batman's really cavalier. Like he drives these fuckers off the cliff and just barely gets out himself. And Robin's like, I'll go help you round them up. He's like, no, this might be pretty gruesome, Robin. I'll go in. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be gruesome. You're gonna be pulling their charred remains.
Not yet, old chum. This is going to be quite gruesome.
Like, I also really like this Batman and Robin. Admittedly, like
They got a good. The two actors, they got a good interplay with one another.
like this is how I like this is classic Batman and Bruce and Dick.
Yeah.
Where like the two of them like laugh and are actually having a good time.
I know the costumes aren't the best in it either, but like they kind of have like a charm to them almost.
Honestly, I like I didn't mind the costumes.
The Robin one looks really
the
good.
Robin one looks really good. I will admit the Robin's actor has like the weirdest hair.
No, he really does.
Like he looks like one of the dudes from fucking Eraserhead. Like actually looks like, you know what he looks like? He looks like an old fucking Dick Tracy villain.
Oh my god, yeah. Actually, now you say that, I do notice that. Yeah.
Eraserhead, I'm gonna rub you out. See, I'm gonna rub you out. Incredible, astonishing, and furthermore, it's unbelievable. Bo. We really love that old doll. Neon Noodle. Neon Noodle. Pussycat, pussycat, pussycat. They actually make a reference to Batman in that too, with the bat.
Batman, it's just a bat that's a man. Like, damn. It's like a fucking baseball bat. Like, shit.
So basically, I don't really want to go into the plot because the plots are very similar. It's just Dr. Dacca comes up with a plan and Batman and Robin try to foil it. And
they beat the shit out of some guys.
And then the guys beat the shit out of them and almost kill them multiple times. Because that's kind of the nature of like superhero serials at this point. Like the heroes will like win.
They don't want to make them invincible.
Yeah, they'll win up to a point, and then like they'll get like I remember there's one where Batman like is fighting them down by this dock, and like one of the guys knocks him into a net. It looks like he's knocked out. And one of the guys up the top's like, I'm gonna drop the bridge onto him, you know, like the scaffolding, and kill him that way. And like they clearly film it where it falls and kills Batman. But in the next serial, he rolls out into the water next to the boat.
I noticed that the first time I watched this was like, dude, like, come on, that editing is not that great.
No, it's like old two-parters in like 90s TV shows where like they film it differently. Mm-hmm. For like I remember in the opening episodes of Power Rangers Zeo, when the Rangers, after the command center gets blown up, they find the new command center that was underneath the old one. Basically, there was like a basement, and they go down there and they come across Alpha and they're like, did Zordon make it out of the explosion? The ending of that episode is Alpha going, I'm sorry, Rangers, as if to imply that Zordon died in the explosion. In the next episode, everyone's all like, Alpha, why did you say sorry? And Alpha's like, no, you didn't let me finish, guys. I was just saying, I'm sorry, but Zordon hasn't completely reconstituted himself. Give him a minute. I'm like, no, you clearly implied Zordon died. And then you're like, oh no, guys, we were kidding. Fooled you. Like I hate when cliffhangers do that shit. Like that is so bullshit. Like you wrote yourself into a corner.
God, you would have hated the old school Star Wars Galaxy of Fear books.
No, I can imagine.
Because so do you know about Galaxy of Fear?
I think I've heard about this before, but
Galaxy of Fear was the Star Wars young adult reader series. It was my library when I was in school had them. Mm-hmm. We had a couple of them. They were really old because they're from the 90s. Mm-hmm. Basically, they're Star Wars Goosebumps books.
Okay.
And each chapter is a fucking cliffhanger.
Yeah. Well, I don't
like it'd be like one chapter's like it was coming right for him. Next chapter starts, but he got out of the way. I'm like, fucking stop with this. Like that's why I could never read those because I was like, dude, stop with this.
Well, because like I don't mind cliffhangers. It's more like
when they get repetitive,
or like when they clearly have to like alter the footage between episodes.
Yeah,
because
it's
they,
like come on, man.
I think there's an episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series where it looks like where Hobgoblin shoots a missile at this truck that Spider-Man got under. And I'm like, clearly he's dead.
Yeah.
Next episode, oh thank God there's this open manhole cover under here. I'm like, that's bullshit. Oh, there's one in this where they're fighting in a chemical plant. And one of the gangsters' gun shoots a vat of chemicals, and the chemicals are spilling on the floor. Another dude ripped the wiring out, and literally like the chemicals are coming towards this sparking wire. It caused an explosion that Batman was clearly in. It caves the roof in.
No, he's okay.
Yeah, Robin's like, it's a good thing these beams fell the way they did. It created a pocket to protect you. I'm like, no!
That's not how physics work.
That's not how physics work. Oh my God. So, like I said, it'd be really repetitive to talk about like every part because, like, again, it's just Batman and Robin foil a crime. The next episode, like at the end, Batman and Robin almost get the shit beat out of them, or like they almost die. And then the next episode, this is how Batman and Robin get out of it. My favorite, okay, so Dr. Daka also has the ability to turn people into what he calls zombies. Which, to be fair, is more like, these are more like the traditional voodoo zombies, where like they're
like
in a
white
trance.
zombie kind of deal.
Yeah, where like they're in a trance. So basically,
For those who don't know, by the way, White Zombie is a Bela Lugosi movie. It's public domain.
Okay.
It's on archive.org.
So basically, he puts this helmet over your head, which is clearly like a colander of some sort, and it puts this like it creates this pressure in your head that like
Kind of like hypnotizes.
yeah, like hypnotizes them, and then he puts this command module on your head, which looks
fucking stupid.
ridiculous. Like.
Be like some shit we hobbled together in here.
Yeah, like this is something you and I could make on a fucking for fucking $5.
On a fucking budget. Colton and Adam make us like a film serial for Remember the Hyphen.
I'd be like, Colton, give me a couple wire hangers and some tinfoil. It's a helmet. But and so like he kidnaps a couple of these, I guess, guys that are in like the Air Corps. I think was what it was called, like
The Army Air Corps, because the Air Force didn't really exist yet.
Okay,
not in the modern form, at least. It was part of it. It was attached to the Army.
I was more because I think it was more like one of those things that FDR created during like the New Deal stuff, or like it was like.
So it was a public deal. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it exactly, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so basically, like these guys, like they help like create new airplanes and stuff, like new technology for the airplanes and stuff. Well, he kidnaps these two guys because he takes them to his base, which is located in a weird carnival attraction that shows all the horrors Japanese soldiers would do to us if it weren't for our U.S. troops.
Oof. A
Yeah,
little bit more for the oof category.
Yeah. And so because like these two dudes were like, well, this will be fun to do before we go to work. And
People back in the 40s were fucking wild.
So Dr. Daka comes out in a kimono with a sword strapped to his waist.
Because again, Japanese stereotypes.
Like he makes Dr. No look less racist by comparison.
Which is an accomplishment.
Yeah, I said that.
It's an accomplishment right there.
Especially because Dr. No also played by a white dude. And so he kidnaps these two guys, turns them into zombies so that he can steal the plane. I think sabotage it for because it's like a new stealth, like a new warplane.
Yeah.
And so Batman gets hired by the U.S. government. He gets sent a coded message to he has to prevent saboteurs. So he has Robin pretend to be like a mechanic there, which he's supposed to be 16 here, so I don't know. Granted, his actor looks like he's 42, because everybody looked 42 back in the 40s.
Coincidence? I think not.
And so basically, these two dudes jump Robin, knock him out, because these zombies have super strength because they're literally just because they don't have control over their bodies. They just use all their full strength, so they're really powerful. Mm-hmm. They knock Robin out, take over for flying this plane. I think they also knock out the guys who were supposed to fly the plane and put on their outfits. Meanwhile, Bruce is up there pretending to be a repair guy inside the plane, and the two dudes take off. Well, thankfully, Robin has their little walkie-talkies that they talk to through each other, and him and these guys have a struggle on the plane. Well, Dr. Daka is watching because he has an electronic eye that allows him to just basically watch whatever the fuck the audience is watching. And basically he orders the two dudes to kill Batman, which I'm who flying the plane?
Who's flying? There's no autopilot.
Yeah, there's no autopilot. And so they come into, I guess, U.S. airspace, or U.S. Army airspace. So the Army sees the plane and just start firing the artillery guns. And they just blow the plane out of the sky with Batman in it. And Batman walks away from this. And the other two dudes too, I'm
What?
What? No. God, it's so insane. Especially because like, there's another one where. I'm sorry, I'm just talking about all the insane bullshit.
But no, that's why I wanted to review these, because this whole thing is insane bullshit.
Yeah, because like what I was talking about when they unmask him, they're like, well, because Robin manages to get their radio and call the police, so all the dudes except one guy escape the compound. He's like, I'm gonna take this dynamite, I'm just gonna blow this fucker to sky high. Well, Batman had come around at this point, but like he didn't want to alert the dude yet, so he faked being unconscious until like the dude starts lighting the fuse.
Start pounding, Joker.
And so like as the dude's leaving, Batman pulls him in. He's like, no, you're gonna die. And like the dude's like, let me go, it's gonna blow any second. And so like he just starts wailing on the dude. The building blows up.
Obviously, everybody in there is dead.
Obviously, everybody in there is dead. Next serial, Batman and Robin happen to find a trap door. And so they...
That's the kind of shit serials would do. They would come up with the most, like, just asininely ridiculous shit on how they got out of this. You know, it'd be like you and me are hanging off the side of the building. All of a sudden, damn, it's a good thing Adam, you found that rope.
Yeah, no, like
that conveniently placed rope on the roof.
Like the first serial ends with Batman falling off a fucking building, and thankfully there were these two window washers that were washing the windows at the time. He lands on the scaffold, which I'm still pretty sure he wouldn't be able to just get himself up.
It's kind of like everybody thinks like if you jump out of a plane over water.
You'll be fine.
Okay.
No,
no, it's the equivalent of smacking into fucking concrete.
Actually, I think it's worse than smacking into solid ground because
it'll fucking kill you.
Yeah,
the fall alone will fucking hurt you.
Yeah,
it's kind of like anybody who's ever gone off a diving board, like bro, like especially a high
it hurts.
That shit hurts. I don't want to imagine doing it from like 150 feet in a plane. Bro, no, you're dead. Like, it's gonna fucking hurt.
Like,
if you don't die, you'll be knocked unconscious.
Because to be fair, there are ways to safely dive into water. I think it's like you have to keep your body completely straight, basically, as you hit, because it breaks the surface tension. I think, like, because basically you're condensing all the force into a point.
It's not like if you like go down like with your arms out, it'll break your fucking arms.
Because the reason belly flopping into water hurts so much is because literally all the energy is like leaving your body, so you don't have as much force to break the surface tension. Is this the whole thing that like basically all like water pressure causes like the surface to be really tense. And granted, it's not like if you like say like this was like the pool and you like there's no tension there because you're literally just But like the higher up you are, the more tension the water has. So basically like like you said, it's like hitting concrete.
It's literally like hitting fucking concrete.
But like the reason why divers like dive in the way they do is because like you're putting all the energy to a point. It's like a bullet, basically. Like the concept behind a bullet. Like all the energy allows you to basically create like a knife point that like you're popping it like a balloon. Weird science facts with that today. But there was one more I remember. It was I had it and I can't think of it. What was it? This wasn't a cliffhanger, but Batman as like the fake mafia guy. He gets into a taxi. The gangsters run the taxi cab over with a semi, literally turn it completely upside down. Batman leaves the hospital with nary an injury and calls Alfred, and Dick is like, yeah, I just was in a massive car crash. Totes fine though.
This Batman is like the luckiest motherfucker I've ever seen.
It really is.
He's like a golden horseshoe shoved up his ass.
And my God, this Batman is such a wimp. He will literally get like beat up, like three thugs will jump him and he'll just get like beat up and thrown around. Like Robin has more fighting prowess. And one of the first fights with Robin, he literally kicks a dude in the shins.
So I'm like, damn, effective.
I'm like, that's
this Robin don't fight fair.
Well, I'm like, that's cute when he's like 12. When this Robin's like 40 something, I'm like, oh, you're just a dick.
This shit hurts.
You're just a dick. Like, what the fuck? But no, it's that 40s insanity that I kind of love in old 40s like B.
It's just fucking bad shit.
Like like
I would love to sit down and watch these with Doug, just
Yeah.
because again they're just insane and it's just complete insanity.
That's why I love for you to watch some of my favorite episodes of Mystery Science Theater. Like the first one they ever did was I think it might have been the 30s, but like 30s and 40s they kind of have the same kind of feeling with films. But like,
Yeah,
it's called
like that film noir kind of deal.
It's called The Crawling Brain. It literally is about this alien brain that like is like creating psychic storms on like this mountain, and like the U.S. government has to like blow it. It is some of the most low rent shit I've ever fucking seen. There's one. It's about this famous like real world famous Mexican luchador. It's about him. He's named Samson, and he has to fight the vampire women.
Oh no!
Which I sadly tried watching, and every time I've watched it, I was really ill. So I end up falling asleep because I'm just like, oh, I'm so sick. I'll just pop into Mystery Science Theater and feel better.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I missed it again. But yeah, like it's just insane. Like there's so much insane bullshit that happens.
So we've been going for almost an hour now. I think we should wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Just any final thoughts on this thing? Because again, I was really excited to have you watch this just so we could review it, because this is like one of those hidden things that most people don't know about that I love bringing up, because like, did you guys know there was a Batman serial in the 40s?
Yeah. Sadly, I didn't know about it because, again, like,
I knew you knew about it.
Talked about it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I knew you hadn't watched it. Because, like, seeing it is an experience.
As someone who has seen serials or know of them, like, I will admit this was probably one of the better serials to watch. Once you get past the whole
The hokiness,
the hokiness
and then the war propaganda,
but honestly, it felt like a Batman comic you would read at the time.
Yeah.
Like it has like Batman and Robin, you know, they're fighting crime. They don't have nearly as much gadgets as Batman and Robin in that would have, but like, you know, it has like death traps and gangsters. It was pretty pleasant, all things considered. It's just, as a serial, I will admit, I think it's kind of one of the lamer ones in certain regards, because Batman and Robin just get the shit beat out of them.
I know. It's like, oh man.
I am kind of looking forward to the Batman and Robin one, because I'm actually watching the riff tracks best of ones where they just do like the best parts of the riff tracks. And so far it has been at least a little bit more like...
It's a little more entertaining, I would like to
Yeah.
say. Because they kind of had they had something to go off of.
Then they have like an actual supervillain
Yeah.
instead of just a mad scientist, which is, I think, more of Superman in this time period than I do Batman. It's like because Batman in the 40s and 50s didn't fight nearly as many mad scientists. Like, he had Dr. Death and he had like Professor Strange, but like those were kind of it.
Yeah.
A lot of them were like gangsters or gangsters. Like, it's just kind of weird seeing all this sci-fi stuff, and we haven't even gotten to like the 60s where Batman goes to like fucking space and meets the Batman of Zur and Ra.
Yeah, just the more wacky shit.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I think I will look forward to the next one because like they actually have Commissioner Gordon, Vicky Vale's in it. It kind of feels like it's a little bit more closer to what you get from Batman than this one, but honestly, I didn't really mind it. Like I said, I think you'll like it if you can get past the fact that it's kind of a war propaganda piece mixed in with like a Batman adventure.
Casual 40s
racism. Like I said, if you can get past that, if not, I would actually recommend watching the second one, because like from what I've seen of like clips of it so far,
it's a little more well made.
Well, a little bit well made. There's no
war drumming.
War drumming in it, especially because it's 49, which I want to say World War II was.
World War II ended in 45.
Yeah, I thought it would end in 45. I didn't want to.
By 49.
Yeah, by 49.
Korea was like a year off, but
yeah,
we were just in the really beginnings of the Cold War.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I thought it was not half bad for what I expected of it. Like, yeah, it's cheap looking, but like most serials in this time period were cheap because you're making these
on the fly.
On the fly. If you want to give your final thoughts before we wrap up,
just like I said, while I do think these are interesting, I don't know if I'd recommend them to a casual Batman fan.
Yeah,
because, well, they are entertaining, and I mean, they are kind of fun to watch, especially for like some of the insanity in them.
Yeah.
it's definitely something that like I kind of think is a little more geared towards like the hardcore fans anymore because like we're looking at it as kind of like a historical deal.
Yeah.
And it's just it doesn't age very well in terms of being like entertaining in a sense that a casual person could pick it up, watch it, and have a good time.
If it were me, if you're like a Mystery Science Theater guy, you'll probably get a kick out of this because this is the kind of shit they watched.
Yeah.
But I think you will get a kick out of this too. Like you said, I don't think I would recommend like someone who likes modern Batman to watch this because it's just
hokiness.
Yeah, that's definitely the word for it. Especially if you want to see Batman like tightroping on a wire as he's being chased by an electrical spark that's slowly encroaching upon him.
With that dramatic music playing.
Yeah, with that dramatic music. I'm like,
stop playing that music.
Don't you know? That's a harpsichord in B minor. Every someone knows it's death.
There you are.
There you are. Stop it, please. I'm begging you. Yeah. If I were to rate this, I'd probably rate it like, in terms of actual quality, probably a 3 out of 10. It would be a 4 if not for the really awful undertones.
Yeah.
As for something that was hilarious to watch, I'd give it an 8. It was pretty fun to watch.
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I'm going to go kind of middle of the road because I'm rating it primarily on the historical significance, in just regards to Batman and in regards to just World War II. Yeah. But kind of like you said, like the undertones definitely would weigh it down to being like probably a 2 or a 3. But I mean, it is entertaining in parts to watch.
Yeah.
And again, for the historical significance, I gotta at least give it a 5.
No, that's fair. Like I said, for me, I just can't say it's completely good because of the propaganda.
That's completely understandable. And that's why being a 5, I think, is being pretty generous.
No, I would agree. So come back next week, guys, when we watch Song of the South.
It might come on Disney Plus.
I know.
Guys, you've been saying you're gonna be re-releasing that movie for fucking 30 years now. It ain't coming out. I'm sorry.
No,
the shit's on YouTube if you want to watch it.
This thing is honestly,
it's boring as fuck.
Yeah,
I've watched it, and it's not very good.
Yeah, for people to get really mad at it, there's really only I think 2 or 3 scenes where I actually consider it to be pretty racist.
I recently watched a doc on it, actually. Yeah. Just kind of giving the background to it. The original script was worse. Trust me.
No,
I mean, the finished product is pretty fucking bad in terms of just undertones and stereotypes. It's really Walt Disney, but it's it could have been even worse.
Yeah, especially because as someone who's seen clips of it, a lot of it's just talking about the South after the Restoration.
Yeah, well, it's based on the Uncle Remus stories,
yeah. For me, mostly, I want to see it mostly for the Brer Rabbit portion, because I've actually heard a lot of good things about the Brer Rabbit and short, aside from.
Don't mention it. We know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't bring that up.
Which literally you can cut out, especially because I think when that short is, because I think the short is the only thing that's ever been re-released.
Zippity Doo-Dah.
And Zippity Doo-Dah.
Because I remember that being in Disney sing-alongs.
Yeah, but that's the only, I think, time it ever shows up is just the sing-along. But in terms of actual parts that you can watch, I think only Brer Rabbit, and again, it's edited to get out some of the worser parts of it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like that bit in Fantasia.
Fantasia with the centaurs?
Yeah, which, by the way, that is cut out on Disney Plus. It is not uncensored.
To be honest, I kind of can't blame them for that.
No, I can't either. But in terms of just Disney doesn't. I'm just gonna be blunt. Disney doesn't have the balls to do what Warner Brothers does, which is put stuff out and then spend the time and be like, "Hey, we're putting this out because to ignore it would be to say it didn't happen," which is kind of bad. Kind of Warner Brothers does with a lot of their sketches, where they'll have Whoopi Goldberg come out and be this is why this is there. It's not right. They're presenting it like this because this is how it was, and you have to learn from it. Disney doesn't want to do that. They kind of just want to be no, it didn't happen.
Part of the problem with that with Disney is
They get gun shy.
Well, then like they're no longer like for everyone in certain aspects.
Yeah.
Like because like they do cater to children. It's like when people get mad at the fact that there's certain episodes of the original Pokemon that aren't released.
Yeah.
Particularly like the episode where literally Ash gets a gun pointed at his face.
Or Electric Soldier Porygon.
Well, Electric Soldier Porygon is...
There's a good reason.
There's a good reason for Electric Soldier Porygon.
Which I've watched it and I'm like okay. At least I know I don't get seizures from this.
Yeah. You can actually watch that episode on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
There's actually versions where like they put like they put
I've
black
seen
and
the
white.
the one I watched because I've seen the whole episode. The one I watched, they slowed that.
Well, then, even then, like from what I've read about,
It was exaggerated. It was a case of hysteria.
Yeah, mass hysteria. But like, because like with Warner Brothers, you can say that like you can release that because adults will want certain parts of that.
Yeah.
Like you can keep it out of the hands of children, especially because Warner Brothers hasn't always catered to children.
Yeah.
But Disney, and like I'm not saying I agree with Disney on that stance.
And I almost want to say they've kind of tried to move away from that in recent years. So maybe because here's the thing. They've been talking about re-releasing Song of the South for fucking decades now, and they haven't.
Well, that and like a lot of the Disney war propaganda shorts.
There's a lot of times I've read they've gotten really close to re-releasing it, and then they just don't do it.
Yeah.
Like apparently it comes up at like every board meeting.
Yeah. But like
should we do it?
Yeah.
No.
But like you get my thought process. I'm like I don't agree with them not releasing it, but I get from like the
you understand why they
because they make stuff for children, and like it's one of those things where like parents are like, fucking do it, Disney. If you want to lose money, fucking do it.
Well, Disney already reported a loss of profit issue, so they might say fuck it, do it anyway.
Yeah, for the first time in decades, I'm like, man.
Maybe that's why they'll re-release it. They'll be like, we're already losing money. Fuck it, why not? Let's burn more of it.
We lost to Sony for the animated picture this year. Fuck it.
Fuck it, do whatever we want.
Bring out Song of the South.
I feel like they do that, and it's like, everybody else, excuse me, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I just be like,
you and I'd be like, I'm gonna buy it just because what the fuck?
Well, then we're gonna have to.
I don't know if I want to review that.
Oh, come on. You and I would just review
Bro,
it.
I've watched some uncomfortable shit being a history major. Like that Come and See movie I told you about.
No,
I don't know if I want to sit through this and then have to talk about it.
To be fair, I've seen bits of Song of the South.
I've seen the whole thing. It's really boring.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't know if I would want to watch it again if like they were like, we went back and cleaned it up. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know if I want to see that in HD. No offense. I saw a shit VHS copy and that was good enough for me.
For you and me, if we were to ever do this, I'd be like, let's just watch the YouTube version.
All right, I probably would pirate it, honestly.
Yeah, I make jokes about us watching it. I haven't watched it in fullness. And again, I mostly want to see the Brer Rabbit part because I've heard good things about the animation in Brer Rabbit.
I have told, and we are on so much of a tangent right now with this, but it kind of goes along. But I have told people this numerous times when people are like, I'm interested to see it. I'm like, I watched it in college for fun. It's really, really fucking boring.
Yeah. Like it's not even like
it's not. I'm like, it has really racist overtones. And it's really fucking boring.
Yeah.
Everybody acts like there are people that act like this is like this lost great Disney masterpiece. I'm like, it's fucking boring.
Because people think because like it has racism in it, like they're gonna see like fucked up shit.
It's gonna be Roots.
I'm like, it's fucking Disney. They like, yes, it's racist, but like, it's racist because that's how it came out in the time.
Yeah,
it's not like you're
the movie itself is just honestly, it's really, really fucking boring.
It's like the crow scene in Dumbo.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's racist.
They put a warning on that on Disney Plus now.
They should because
same with Aristocats.
Yeah, the same with Aristocats. But I think with Dumbo is I love Dumbo, and yes, the crow scene is bad. Otherwise, Dumbo is just a story about a little baby elephant.
Yeah. Trying
to get his mom freed from prison.
It's really such a jarring thing because you're just kind of enjoying the movie and then bam, that shit happens. You're like, okay, hold up a fucking minute. Then it goes away and it's like, what did I just fucking see?
Yeah, to quote TV tropes, it's a big lipped alligator moment.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
one of those things where it's like, hold up, back that the fuck up.
Yeah,
Hit the rewind button on that.
But
what the fuck did I say?
Yeah, like I said, that's one of the reasons why I didn't mind us watching this, even though I knew it was gonna. Because when I watched the Batman serial, I was like, oh god, is this the one with the really racist Japanese guy? I'm like,
yeah, it is.
Yep, there we go. All right, well, this is what I'm doing today. But anyway, guys, I think we've to be fair, I don't mind these kind of tangents because it is related
It's related to it. It's related.
It's kind of fun
It's film censorship and just things that are really fucked up and are censored for a pretty good reason.
Yeah. We might actually do a censorship episode because I want to talk a little bit more about the Pokemon episode just because
let's be honest, we do censorship. We're just gonna talk about fucking Return of the Joker again for the third time.
Yeah, we will.
We're just gonna talk about it.
You and I have talked about a lot of interesting film. I think it'd be fun to just talk about it.
Moviecensorship.com is one of my favorite fucking websites.
Especially because I know a lot about Electric Soldier Porygon and how much it affected the Japanese film industry. Because this is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll end. But the movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, they actually had to slow down the scene with the ogre or the troll because there's lightning flashes in there, and they actually slowed the lightning flashes down because that was how that industry was affected by the Electric Soldier.
They got paranoid about it.
Yeah. Just one other quick example. The beam struggle between Vegeta and Goku in the Saiyan Saga. Even if you've not seen anime, you probably have seen that where they.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That is actually an edited re-release of that from Japan, because the original version, the flashing lights were actually much faster.
Okay, we're diving into some lost media stuff. We need to just do a video on lost media.
Lost media,
because you and I are both really into
lost media and
lost media is a rabbit hole that
lost media and just stuff that has been censored and no longer exists.
Damn, this shit is interesting.
That might be the first thing we do in season 3.
It's just lost media.
Yeah, just because I think it'd be fun to talk about. But anyway, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this year's MoBat Movember. I'm sure we'll do more Batman next year because.
This year has just been. We had a lot more planned for this, but just shit has been just completely bonkers lately.
It's been hard, and not only given what time of year it is for our jobs, it's
really hectic. And there have been nights where we're let's film tonight. Then we clock in, shit's fucked up.
Yeah.
Then we get off, and it's I want to go the fuck home. I don't want to film. I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I got a bed calling my name.
Hopefully, once we get into January, because January is usually when our
shit slows down.
So, but to be fair, next month's Spideyness, and I do think we will have,
because we've had some ideas for that.
We've had some ideas
for a while now.
Tomorrow, before we go into work, we might want to kind of finalize what we have. We do have an episode already shot, but I want to. But anyway, guys, enough about us talking our plans. We hope you enjoyed this year's MoBat Movember. It's sad that it's going, but. Come back next week when we start Spideyness. But for now, guys, I'm Zongetsu134.
And I'm Average Joe Squad.
And as always, we ask you,
remember the hyphen?
And take care.